afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming. And on behalf of BAFTA and Screen West Midlands, I am really thrilled that we have Kajol here with us today and that you've all turned out in your huge numbers to welcome her to Birmingham. Welcome, Kajol.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Most of you need no introduction to Kajol, but I'm still going to say a few words about her achievements and her films before we get into the interview. Kajol, you were ranked in the top 5 list of the most beautiful Indian women, which I think
that's a mistake, but what the hell?
And you've appeared in over 26 movies since your debut in 1992. And a lot of these movies, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, Dilwale Dulhania, all of these movies have been some of the biggest Bollywood movies of recent years. And in all of these movies, you have played a significant role. And won over 16 awards as Best Actress for many of those films. I've counted them all. I'd like to start off by sort of really asking you about how you got involved in the film industry, because you come from a family which is a legendary film family. Your mother, Tanuja, was an actress. Your grandfather was a director and a producer. And like your aunt, the legendary Nutan, you also go by your first name only. And just like her, you're stunningly beautiful and naturally gifted actress. So was it something that was always expected of you to just follow in their footsteps?
Not really, because my mom was one of those rare people who is one of those rare people and one of those rare mothers who never ever forced anything on me, whether it was an opinion or whether it was a direction that I should take in my life or whether it was even what I should think. So she pretty much left it up to me. And as far as my choice in, working in the films was concerned, I think the only a piece of advice that she gave me was that, babes, you better be careful because it's not something that you can back out of at the last minute. So if you start it, you will have to finish it. So she was pretty good about that.
Yeah. You're very unique and quite unusual in the Bollywood film industry for actually being quite picky and choosy about the roles that you play. You're very selective. Having made 26 movies, actually it's not a lot in terms of Bollywood standards. And it's a very competitive industry and actors are always doing 2-3 films at once and trying to make as many movies as possible. But you've never gone down that route. So can you talk a little bit about why?
I haven't gone down that route for the simple fact, again, I really have to, hand it to my mom and, my family, because I think it has to do a lot with the kind of peer pressure that you're under. You haven't signed this film, oh my God, you're sitting at home, you're not working, what's wrong with you? You should be just up there and, pushing your success as fast as you can, as far as you can. So she never ever made me feel that I had to work, or never ever made me feel that, if I didn't work, my life would be over or something like that. And as far as my films were concerned, she really left it up to me. She was like, I raised you to be a level-headed, intelligent woman, and I believe that I have brought you up well enough to trust your own judgment. And at the age of 17 and at the age of 16, that was a huge thing for me. So I respect her more after I've had a baby, trust me.
Well, that's really unusual to have a mother who completely trusts you and respects you to make the right decision. But at the same time, be there for you as a guide if you needed that. So I think you're incredibly lucky in having that.
I am. I believe that.
Yeah. So what is it that makes you decide when you read a script? What is the deciding factor on which film you're going to do? Because you must get like hundreds of scripts, hundreds of proposals.
I think it has to do with mainly, is it going to run? Is it going to do well? And also, I need to feel that I would like to do this. Not something that, I've done this 120 times before, I don't want to do this again. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be like that. So it's something that I know that I will sit through 100 days without getting bored.
So. So is it sometimes, is it the character in a movie? Like when you did Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, what was about Kuch Kuch Hota Hai? Why did you decide to do that?
I think it can't only be one deciding factor. It has to be a combination of everything put together.
Right.
It can never be only one particular thing. It can't be that, oh, I like this character, so let me do this film. It has to be the character, it has to be the script, it has to be the director, it has to be the company. It has to be everything put together. I only think, that's why I'm choosy. Yeah. That's why I'm picky. Because I need it all to be together and I need it all to be, perfect before I'll agree to do it.
Yeah. You've made over 5 movies with Shah Rukh Khan, and I know you've been, and I know you've probably been asked this question before, but I have to ask you, what is it? Because the two of you on screen have the most incredible kind of chemistry, and that's actually very difficult to pull off. And it's also very rare in cinema to find two people, Bogart and all those people used to have.
I don't know whether we're so legendary, frankly, but I think it has to do with the fact that I think we both basically genuinely like each other and we're friends. So I think that translates into a certain comfort level, which comes across very, very clearly on screen. I really think it's that more than anything else.
And do you rehearse beforehand scenes you're going to do with him? I mean, how do you work with him? What's your working process?
He is a very, very intense actor. He really is. He's very, 300% there. And even, I think you guys must know, right? You all have seen him and he's very much there. When he's doing something, he's 300% there. There's no halfway limit with him. I don't think he can be, just involved with anything. So, I mean, he's a very intense and focused and involved person. So as far as rehearsals are concerned, yes, we do rehearse it once or twice. But he's like, I think we've developed a system of working where we don't really need to sit down and, explain things to each other too much in detail.
Okay, well, can we see a clip from Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, please? Well, I think that's just an absolutely wonderful clip because partly it shows that your very specific kind of acting and your character, which is often, that playing a tomboy, quite feisty, very bubbly, not afraid to say what she thinks. What was it like playing that role?
Very much like myself, actually. So it wasn't too difficult.
Yeah. One of the things that I've noticed from watching a lot of your movies is that many actresses are often very concerned about how they're looking and what they're wearing, and you can see that on screen. You can sometimes see that in their performance. But with a lot of your films, or all your films, and you just completely embody the character. You become that person and you are totally grounded in that. And that's, I think, very rare. So, and different actors use different tools to become the character.
So basically you're saying that because I'm untidy, I'm a better actress. And that's what you're trying to tell me.
I'm not saying that.
So basically because my hair is rumpled, I'm a better actress because my hair is rumpled. Okay, got it.
No, I mean, you know what I'm saying, that it's much more believable.
I completely understand, but as I said, I agree with you. But that's not necessarily a compliment. I mean, I take it as a compliment from you, definitely. But it's not something that most people who know me personally consider as a compliment, basically. Because they're like, why don't you think about it? And I'm like, I can't be bothered. I forget. I really forget. I can't be bothered about what I'm wearing and, whether my every hair and every strand is in place or whatever. I just feel I get like completely bored with that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and also it's about being a professional actress, that you're actually working as an actress and you're embodying that role, so that if you become Anjali, you're not thinking about, any of those other things. And I think that is an absolutely amazing kind of skill to be able to have as an actress. Yeah, and I think you should definitely take it as a compliment. Over the years, you've made many movies. Do you ever look back at your films and are you ever self-critical about your work?
Always, always. From my first film to my last film, I think I've always felt that I can do better. I don't think that I can look back on any particular film and say that that was perfect or that I can't improve on it, because I always feel that I can improve on it. And I just feel that I can do better and I can do better. I don't know, maybe I'm super critical, but I always feel that I can do better.
Let's talk a bit about Kabhi Khushi Kabhie Gham. Yeah, that was an amazing all-star film with Amitabh Bachchan, Jaya Bhaduri, Hrithik Roshan, Kareena Kapoor, Shah Rukh Khan. So, what was it like being on set for that movie with all those amazing actors? I mean, was it fun? Was it intimidating? Did you all get on?
It wasn't really intimidating, but I can't even say that it was that much fun. Yes, it was great as an actress to work with so many people, such professional people and such good actors. It was great fun as an actress, but I mean, personally speaking, I mean, I think we were all so big that it got a little difficult to, get along with each other just on a personal level.
Yeah.
So we had fun, but we were all a little formal with each other and all at the end of it.
And your character, Anjali, again, you play another Anjali in that film. She speaks Punjabi, which you don't speak. It's not your language. You'd said somewhere that this character was totally alien to you.
Completely. I mean, I'd seen characters like that, but I'd never ever thought that I could ever copy one, or I never thought I could emulate one. And I don't speak Punjabi, so that was my biggest obstacle in the whole way. I had a lot of people coming up to me after K3G and telling me, and speak to me in fluent Punjabi, and I was like, I don't understand. Hello, that was the movie, that was the character. I don't understand Punjabi on a daily basis. So in other words, basically, I convinced them that I could speak Punjabi when I absolutely can't. And Karan was pretty much like, you have to mug these dialogues, and it was a nightmare. It was really a nightmare. It was like going back to school or something.
Yeah, and did you have a dialogue coach and somebody kind of there on set?
Not really. I mean, I'd been married by that time, so my dialogue coach was my entire in-law side, basically. And but that's about it. I think Karan speaks Punjabi pretty fluently.
Right.
So he was the one who wrote the dialogues, and he was the one, what are you saying? You don't know what you're saying. I said, okay.
Well, you worked quite a lot with Karan Johar. Is that something that you two have decided that you're always going to make movies together?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I've decided that I always want to work with him, because A1, he's my friend. So, I mean, I'm just really comfortable with him. I enjoy working with my friends. I think everybody would say that they would love to work with their friends and be in a comfort zone. My comfort zone is very much clear. Plus, I did their first home production. So, I mean, in that, I know everybody in his unit, from the production controllers to everybody, to his dad, to, the entire family, basically. So it's very, very much, it's like my family, I don't feel apart from it, even whether I'm in the film or not.
Shall we see a clip from Kabhi Khushi Kabhie Gham? I love this clip, because I think that it's such a serious situation you're in, and it becomes so funny at the end. And I think it's a real gift to be able to do comedy, because it's so much about timing and facial expressions. And is this something you really enjoy doing? Would you like to do more comedy?
I would definitely like to do more comedy, but as far as this particular scene is concerned and this particular character is concerned, I really would have to give the credit for this to Karan, because he wrote it in such a way, and I kept telling him, I was like, I don't know if I can do this, because I can make people cry, but I don't know whether I can make them laugh. I think it's much tougher to make somebody laugh than it is to make them cry. And I kept telling him, I was like, I don't know how to do this. I just don't know how to do this. I mean, what am I, first of all, so there's Punjabi in it for the bloody hell. I have to speak Punjabi, then on top of that I have to make everybody laugh, and it was just like too much. I can't do it. And he was like, don't worry, you'll be fine. Just do exactly as I tell you. So I really would have to give the credit to him for that.
And did you have to do many takes, or was that just one or two?
No, I think that was the first take.
Oh, it's brilliant.
So you did it well.
First take's often the best, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I'd like to talk a bit about your acting, really. And one of the things that you'd said in an interview I'd read was that you find that acting has taught you a lot, and that you find it quite therapeutic.
Yes, it is.
And cleansing. You said, every time I act, I feel detoxified. And can you talk a bit about that?
I think that everybody should do at least one film in their entire lives, because when you do something, when you act out a particular scene, or if you're doing something in front of, like, you know, thousands of people or whatever, I think it breaks down a lot of barriers in your head, and barriers that you don't even realize that you have, or that you've built up inside yourself, and these expectations that you have in your head, you know, like, oh, you're supposed to behave in a particular way in front of particular people. And, you know, oh, I can't say this. How can I say this? Or how can I do this? You know, I can't laugh the way I want to. I can't, like, you know, burst out laughing, or I can't burst out crying in front of people or whatever. And it's so amazing to it's so amazing to break that little barrier in your head and go ahead and do it. I really think that people should do it more often. I really think that people should just, you know, at least do one film in their lives, really, even if it's just a home video. I really think it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. So after Kabhi Khushi Kabhie Gham, you actually took a break, and
Yes,
you took a 5-year break. You got married to Ajay Devgan. You now have a 3-year-old baby daughter. Can you say, was that a deliberate decision that you just wanted to concentrate on motherhood?
Yes, I did. It was deliberate. I mean, it wasn't something that, you know, I'd planned earlier in my life. But at that point in time, I needed the break. I needed the time out. I knew that I would not be able to work, have a baby, and, you know, look after the baby. And I wanted to look after the baby. I had her, so I could be a mother. I mean, I don't see the point in having a baby if you're not willing to, you know, take care of it. So, yes, I took that time out, and I don't regret it. And I don't think that it's, you know, a lot of people try to influence me at that point and say that, you know, no, you know, what are you doing? And you can have a baby later, and, you know, what the hell? I said, you know, if my career has to, you know, if you say that I'm so good as you claim me to be, then I'm sure that my career will wait for me. I'm sure that it will happen for me when I want it to happen for me. And fortunately for me, it did. So that's good.
No. And what a comeback with Fanna. I mean, what an incredible comeback. That's just a stellar film. And everyone has always said that there would be no way that you could ever, it would be impossible to replicate the kind of sizzling chemistry that you have with Shah Rukh Khan with anyone else. And actually in Fanna, you have that with Aamir Khan. That you have chemistry, but also both of you really push each other on your performances. So the performance levels and the standard keep going up and up throughout the film. Right. What was it about this film that attracted you to it? What was about the script, the story?
I think it was just the fact that, you know, it was just a well-woven script. It was a very well-written script. It was a very well-defined character. It wasn't just, you know, any little girl from, you know, anywhere. I liked the whole story. I liked everything put together. As I said, it had to be everything. It had to be the character, the script, the person behind it, the producer, the director. So I think it was just a combination of everything put together, you know.
And in the film, you play Zuni, who's actually blind for the first half of the film. What kind of research did you do to play that character? Because that's
None.
a really tough thing.
I didn't do any research. I'm half blind anyway, so I just take off my specs and I can't see. So, I mean, you know, I just took off my specs and I was like, oh, is that Aamir or is that Shah Rukh? I can't make up my mind, really.
Okay, well, we haven't got very long, and we need to take some questions from the floor as well. So I've just got a couple more questions, which, what would be your dream character or role? Is there any dream character or fantasy role that you would really like to play that you haven't played so far?
Nothing really. I can't say that there's... I really think of it as touch wood, that whatever I have done till today, I have done because it's come to me. I haven't really asked for it. Really, touch wood on that point, that I haven't really gone looking for it or said that, oh, this is what I'm aiming for or something like that. So it's pretty much, so I assume that whatever will happen henceforth as well will happen the way it is supposed to.
Yeah, and particularly given the kind of roles you played and the characters you played and the films that you've made, you are a role model for many younger women. both within the film industry, but also very much outside of it. I mean, how do you feel about that kind of responsibility of being a role model?
I don't really look on it as a responsibility because I have never ever done anything with anybody else's point of view in mind. As far as my life is concerned and my decisions are concerned, as my mother put it, I was a very well brought up young lady. I knew my own mind pretty early on in life. And I took responsibility for whatever my actions are. So, and I was taught that. So whatever I have done till today, and I don't regret a single thing of whatever, whether it's my mistakes, whether it's my triumphs, whether it's whatever, I don't regret anything. And I would not redo one point in it again. 2 minutes. I would never do anything else. I would never redo anything else. So as far as being a role model is concerned or being a responsibility is concerned, all I can say is that, I mean, it's, you know, everybody has their own individual life to lead, which they will have choices in front of them, which they will have to judge for themselves. Nobody can be your role model besides yourself. Nobody. And nobody should be your role model besides yourself.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that, but I think that, you know, you portrayed women and young women in films who are feisty, who are self-determining, who speak their mind, and that's not a representation that we often see in Indian films. So
it may not be representation that you normally see, but at the same time, a person who is shy and soft-spoken and, you know, not able to assert herself or himself is not necessarily wrong in whatever she's doing, or not necessarily, you know, not the right kind of person either. No, so, no. I mean, you know, they're all it takes everyone to make up a world.
Yeah, really. Sure. Yeah. I'm just saying you've given confidence to a lot of young women.
I hope so.
Yeah. Okay, so what about the future? What projects do you have lined up? Because I heard somewhere that you're going to be playing Sita in the Ramayana next year.
Yes, I'm going to be playing Sita next year.
Can you say a little bit about who's doing the film?
I haven't. It's Rajkumar Santoshi is going to be directing the film, and my husband will be playing Ram, and I will be playing Sita. Okay, so that's the casting crew. And
you've heard it here first.
No, and we've got a home production coming up as well. So that's about 2 films.
Yeah, and is it true that Ajay is going to be directing you in a film that he's going?
We haven't really decided anything as yet. Yes, we've decided on a home production, but we're still, you know, how it is. You have to decide what you want to do, how you want to do it, who you want to do it with. So there's still lots up in the air, really.
Yeah. Well, really good luck with all your future projects, and thank you.